With our legal analyst, Jeff Hosford of Hosford Law Firm. Jeff, thanks so much for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we wanted just to discuss in very general terms that at some point in our lives, most of us may need some help from a legal standpoint, and it is your position that getting an attorney is probably the best way to handle that, rather than trying to do it yourself.
Obviously, as an attorney, I get lots of phone calls, I get lots of questions. A lot of the questions come after they've done something that causes them to have to call me. One of the main things I always say is if you're going to sign a document or you're concerned about what you're signing, it's always easiest and cheapest to call the attorney before you sign it than after you sign it. Obviously, if you call a person or an attorney before you sign it, they can take the paperwork, they can go over it with you. If there's problems areas that they address with you, they might be able to get those changed with the other parties, and therefore it makes it a better agreement for you. If you call that attorney after you've signed the paperwork, it is much more expensive for them to try to fix or undo what you've done, and in some cases it may be impossible to undo those things. And that's why it's always best to consult an attorney when you have a question about a legal document or a legal paper that you're trying to sign.
The fact of the matter is, Jeff, of course, is that if you've got a legal document in front of you, quite likely it has a lot of legal jargon that the untrained eye probably can't understand. So an attorney is probably the best route.
As I always say, anytime you get a document, somebody probably drew that up so it's in their favor, not yours. If you really want a document or agreement that's fair, it's always best to have your attorney review it, make sure both sides understand what's going on, and make sure you definitely understand what you're signing into and what you're agreeing to do. Sometimes you may sign something and 20 years later you're still paying for it. There's lots of record deals that were made 20 or 30 years ago where artists are still giving money to RCA or some company like that because of the deal they signed 20 years ago.
Good advice as always. If you have a question for Jeff, you can send it to us at legalline@wcbi.com. We will see you next week. Jeff, thanks.